Okay, good morning. Welcome delegates from around the globe. We have attendees from all over the EU, including Norway, Croatia, Bulgaria, Georgia, and of course, all the regulars from the heart of the Alps and the Pyrenees. In addition, we have people from Japan, New Zealand, South America, and of course, many from the US and Canada. My name is Steve Kite. I'm the chair of the VSSW 2020 and the ISSW 2021, both hosted here in Fernie, British Columbia. Our studio is set up in the beautiful Elkview Lodge. You can see across behind me here, perhaps, the Lizard Range and the ski hill, Fernie Alpine Resort ski hill is just around the corner. We'll be trying to get an idea of how many people have ever visited Fernie in our little town here. So we're gonna pop up a quick poll and here it comes. And we're really missing hosting you all in person, but that day will come. So if you can answer the poll, that would be great. And poll is in progress for attendees only. So it'll be just a second before I actually get some results on the poll. Right now, the ski hill has just shut down for the summer, and Island Lake Lodge behind me also, but the mountain biking is fantastic. And in fact, several of us have been out mountain biking quite a bit in the last couple of days. And I'm just getting some. So 39% of people have actually, so far answering the poll, have actually visited Fernie, and 61% have not. So I assume you're from far away. Fernie's got awesome facilities and things to do in here. So we're hoping that all of you can attend when it gets around to October of 2021 and visit us in the future. So I guess that brings me to the virtual snow science workshop and why now. So in the spring at the Canadian Avalanche Association meetings, we had a virtual meeting set up by the Canadian Avalanche Association, and it was in a great format. It was really quite inspirational, and we feel strongly that we could build on that idea to produce the VSSW. So I'd really like to thank the Canadian Avalanche Association for their inspirational work there. And you're going to meet a few people from the Canadian Avalanche Association today and tomorrow as well. I'd also like to thank a bunch of sponsors. So CIL is our title sponsor, along with Tech, who is a mining company in Fernie here and across the globe actually. M&D Safety, that they've just rebranded from TAS, many of you will remember. Avalanche Canada, of course, a huge sponsor for us. Visa and Avalanche Control, working around the globe as well, and I love watching the Facebook posts from those guys. Fernie Tourism, we're gonna hear from Christine Grimmel a little bit later from Fernie Tourism, and of course the Elkview Lodge, where we are situated here now. And if we go to the next slide. Here we go. So these are sponsors from the ISSW 2020, and we'd really like to thank them for their continued support. We're working away hard as it is right now to plan for the 2021 event now, and we're moving in that direction as we can in a safe fashion to make sure that we can have an in-person gathering in the fall of 2021. So thanks a lot to those sponsors as well. I'd like to now go to a video of our sponsor, our main sponsor, our title sponsor from CIL. like to now introduce Brent Strand, who works both for Avalanche Canada and the Canadian Avalanche Association. He wears many hats in our neck of the woods and is the technical producer of the virtual snow science workshop. He'll be reviewing the how-tos of GoToWebinar for all of us. Brent, take it away.
Good day, everybody. Welcome to the VSSW today. Just a few notes here today. For starters, the presentations on Monday and Tuesday are going to begin on the hour and a half hour throughout the day. The day is going to be organized into 3 sessions. There's going to be an oral session, and then there's going to be a panel discussion, and then a second oral session in the day. And with that being said, at the beginning, you're going to go through your oral session, and then at the end, the webinar will close. And once the webinar is closed, a half hour from then, after the break, you'll have to go back to the website, click on the Go to Live link again to get into the next session. And you'll have to do this for the 3rd session in the afternoon as well. The big thing with the attendee controls, as you come into this meeting, you will be self-muted, just so we don't have, 500-600 people all talking at once. As well, we're getting people, you can post comments into the question chat box. And we're really going to lean on people to use the raised hand function, which you can see on the screen here. It's highlighted with the red arrow. Looks like a hand. You click that, you raise your hand, and then at the end of the presentations, there'll be time for some questions and answers. And we're going to draw into the audience from the floor using the raised hand question. Once you've been selected, I will unmute you. You can ask your question, and please start your question with your name and where you're coming from today. With that being said, you can also put some comments or feedback into the box and in the chat box there. And today, we got to really thank all our sponsors that help us out here today. I'm going to introduce Tech, Diversified Resource Company. It does a great contribution to the Elk Valley community and to the avalanche safety world as a whole. So we're going to see another video here from Tech.
At Tech, innovation isn't a buzzword or blue sky notion of what the world might look like someday, maybe. Here, innovation is what we do every day by putting ideas to work. Ideas like using the sun to power our operations. Finding new ways to protect watersheds. And employing artificial intelligence that can detect equipment failures before they happen. Ideas like using augmented reality to better understand every phase of our mine development. And deploying dozers remotely to keep people out of unsafe areas. The type of thinking that employs drones to help inspect sites more safely and more efficiently. Smart shovels to determine valuable ore from waste rock. And data-driven everything to make sure we can see even the smallest details of our operation and work to make things better. At Tech, we invent, we collaborate, we partner, and we improve. This is where ideas come to work every single day.
Okay, welcome back, everybody. Brent, thanks to you, and thanks to Tech, a great contributor to the Elk Valley here and to the avalanche safety world. I'd like to now, it's my pleasure to introduce Rich Marriott, and I think we have a slide of Rich and Christine and myself, perhaps. There we go. So this is Rich Marriott in the middle, Christine Grimble on the left, and myself on the right. This was at the ISSW 2016 in Breckenridge, when we just got the bid for hosting 2020. We had no idea how much of a challenge it would be, but we're moving on and quite happy with what's going on. So again, this is Rich Marriott from the International Steering Committee for the ISSW. We had a meeting this morning, and so I'd like to turn it over to Rich, if we have Rich. Rich, can we turn your camera on?
Yep, coming up. Should have sound and video.
There we go. Thanks, Rich. Good to see you again here.
Good to see you as well. Good. We're getting our flying wings here and using GoToWebinar. That's for sure. Should say good morning, everybody. Actually, I should also say bonsoir, guten Abend, bona serata. as you heard from Steve, we have got a huge number of attendees from all over. The great coverage. It sounds like every continent except Antarctica. I wouldn't be surprised to see them show up later on. Is going to be represented, it looks like. So it's one of the great things about virtual meetings is that the fact is you get much wider coverage, much wider participations. The downside is you do miss some of the social components, but that's being worked on and might be a lot better by the next time we do this, thanks to all the experimentation they're doing there in Fernie right now. On behalf of the steering committee, I would like to welcome everybody to the first virtual International Snow Science Workshop. The ISSW steering committee, kind of a shadowy group that we are, is made up largely of former chairs of ISSWs and people who have been involved working with ISSWs for some time. Our mission as the steering committee is to solicit proposals and then to select hosting cities and the locations for the ISSW. And once we do select them, then our mission is for the steering committee to guide them along, to keep them in the same theme and the same ideas that have been featured in ISSW for all these years. So ISSW has seen an amazing transformation in size and in global reach, for that matter, since the first informal meeting in Banff way back in 1976. That first official ISSW was in Bozeman in 1982, and then our first European ISSW was in Davos in 2009, and then of course our last ISSW was in Innsbruck in 2018. So I've had the good fortune to attend every one of these meetings and to have long-term relationships with so many people in the business. It's a great community to work in. Each one of the ISSWs, and this is what we really like about them, has its own character, its own flavor. It's influenced by the organizers and the locale, and for a lot of us, we get to visit mountain regions we might not have visited otherwise, except to go to an ISSW, and it's a great experience. The social function of it, the social part of it, is really huge, and a chance to network with a lot of people. The intent of ISSW, though, has not changed over the 4 decades that it's been going on. Is to bring together researchers and practitioners to share their knowledge and their experience in dealing with snow and avalanches. And this serves the overall motto of ISSW, which is emerging of theory and practice. And I attend a lot of scientific conferences around the world, and this one is the best for the sharing of the information from the people who are on the cutting edge research with the people, the practitioners who are out in the field using that research, and that feedback and forth really does help out for everybody who's involved in it. This year may be our most dramatic change in ISSW ever. I want to give a special thanks to Steve Kite and his organizing committee. They had the initiative, nobody asked them to do it, they just did it, to put on this virtual workshop after the pandemic forced them to postpone to 2021. It is no small undertaking for Steve and his committee, that's for certain. They seem to have filled a real need in the community, given the fact that we have around 1,000 people registered, with registration only being open for about a month and not maybe being as widely publicized as some ISSWs are when they have longer lead times. This, in many ways, though, this virtual ISSW is a look into the future. The steering committee has been considering adding a virtual component to the workshops for a while now, just to give broader access to the workshops and hopefully allow more people to share their knowledge. And as the virtual technology expands, we're hopeful that it will be possible for those participating virtually to share in some of the social components, which is, of course, an important part of ISSW. And the other plus to the virtual component is that we've had a problem with the workshop growing over all these years. We started with around, I think, 220 attendees in Banff, and we're around 1,000 for our last 3 ISSWs, which really limits where we can have the meetings. And one of the things we've tried to do through all the years is to hold the meetings in a mountain environment or some place which is very near to the mountains, so they have easy access, especially for the field trips. And the problem is that it's started to be limited where we could have these because of the size of the meeting. This will allow us to expand it. So this is just kind of said a look into the future. And speaking of the future, it's looking pretty bright right now. I can just pull that up. Modern technology serving many, oops, let's get that up. What do we have up here? We've got me up. Should be sharing my screen at this point.
Not yet, Rich.
Not yet.
I'll just send it to you.
Okay. And there it is. Yeah, that was up. I clicked it. That should be, it's still me.
Correct.
I clicked on here we go. This is why we're having this tech day, right?
Yeah, you bet. Just on your sharing palette there's a big play button. There should be a little drop down menu.
Ah, there you go. It seems unhappy with me. We'll do it again. No one can see your screen.
Pop your slides up.
I'm clicking the I'm clicking the play arrow on show, and no joy.
Yeah. I'll try and send it back to you one more time. Let's just make sure.
If not, I'll just wing it. But I had some very pretty pictures to show. Okay. Okay. Show my screen. It evaporated. Try one more time, and then I'll just go on.
Okay, I'll give you one more go.
Standing by, there it is. Okay, hitting show my screen, hitting play, under sharing, and it's not taking it for some reason.
Good thing it worked seamlessly in practice this morning.
Of course it always does. Isn't that the way it is? Well, I guess you guys will have to look at me. These will be much prettier pictures of where ISSW is going in the next few days, next few years. It's good reason to have this tech time for us. So speaking of the future, though, we're looking at some really interesting meetings coming up. VSSW is going to be really interesting. We've also one of the things that we have done back in 2012 in cooperation with Montana State University, as we have set up a database which has every paper from ISSW from all the way back to the early meetings in 1976. They're online and they're free, so you can go and read any paper. You can search the database. It's a great opportunity. The steering committee's website, which is at issw.net, has links to that Montana State database. Also, if you go to our website, you'll see it's kind of a history of each of the meetings that we went through. It also serves as a focal point for future workshops. So if you're interested, your area is interested at some point in hosting an ISSW, you can contact us through the website, and we can send you the information on what it takes and what we're looking for in terms of hosting sites. So again, that's issw.net, or you can go to our Facebook page, which is ISSW Steering Committee. The coming ISSWs, these are where I had some beautiful pictures to show you. It's going to be looking pretty good. Of course, we have 2021 headed our way with Fernie. That's going to be exciting to be in the Elk Valley and see everything. I've never been to Fernie except in the winter time, so it's going to be exciting to see it in the fall. That's going to be fun. ISSW 2022 has been postponed until 2023. It's going to be the second week in October, the 8th through the 13th. It's going to be held in Bend, Oregon, which lies right adjacent to the Central Oregon Cascades in the shadow of Mount Bachelor, and it's in Red Rock country. It's a physically beautiful place to go visit, all sorts of things to do around that area. And it's returning to the Central Cascades of Oregon for the first time in 25 years. We had ISSW in 1998 there, which was held in Sun River, which is right near Bend. And then finally, I'm really happy to announce, and excited to announce for that matter, that the next European ISSW is going to be held in ISSW 2024, will be held in Tromsø, Norway. It'll be the first ISSW above the Arctic Circle. And as they point out in the proposal, the changes in climate are more reflective and more extreme where they are. So we'll be getting a look at the future as well when we go to Tromsø. It's a beautiful place. I'm sorry I don't have the pictures up for you to see, to go visit. It's also going to be a really interesting conference, and they have cooperation of a lot of the Scandinavian countries. So it will be another really great ISSW, and hope to see a lot of people there for that. But it will also have a large virtual component in case you can't make it there. The really interesting thing about going up to Tromsø is going to be to see the real variations in terms of the Arctic with some of the more alpine places we visited before. So definitely something the next few years are something to look forward to. Just a note, in our rotation, we go Europe, Canada, US. So we're looking for people who are interested in hosting in Canada in 2026 and back in the United States in 2028. That seems like a long ways away. So anyway, ISSW is healthy and moving forward, and thank you all for attending. It's going to be an exciting couple of days of new technology, which will work better than this, I'm sure, and also of just all the information we normally get at ISSW. Steve?
Thanks, Rich. That was awesome, and thanks for getting through our first really big technical glitch there, and winging it as a seasoned professional can. I know it's kind of like like herding cats while in a dog pound to try and run the ISSW international group, and so hats off to you with that. I think now we'll go to another of our sponsors' videos. This is the M&D group. M&D has recently gone through a branding, as I mentioned earlier, a branding change, but the Avalanche world will know them as in the past as TAS. So it was TAS M&D, and now we're going with M&D. They're also responsible for the new remote avalanche control installation that's just getting started up at the Fernie Alpine Resort Ski Hill, and I'm sure that you're going to hear many more things about that, but it's really exciting for me. So we'll play that video clip. Okay, thanks, M&D. We look forward to hearing the Obelix in action. And in fact, from my dining room table, I can see that section of mountain. And I really look forward to the dark mornings when it's been snowing all night and I can see the kaboom up there and hear the kaboom from my house. I'd like to now introduce our technical program chair, James Floyer. James has extensive experience in the avalanche world, but most recently serves as Avalanche Canada as the Public Avalanche Warning Service Supervisor, as well as being an adjunct professor at Simon Fraser University Snow and Avalanche Research Program. James, it's good to have you here.
Thank you very much, Steve. It really is a beautiful fall day here in Fernie and at our wonderful broadcast location at the Elkview Lodge. When I agreed to take on the role of program chair a year and a half ago, the world was a very different place. The idea of hosting a 1,000-person meeting in the small town of Fernie seemed like a huge challenge, but the challenges were at least tangible. Things like, how do we make space for all those delegates? What's the best way to organize the rooms and deal with the flow of people? For the program itself, there was already a playbook and lots of examples from past ISSWs to turn from. Then the pandemic hit and the world changed. We learned very quickly how to hold virtual meetings at all scales, whether that's 2-person chats, 10-person team meetings, 50-person briefings, or 500-person webinars. Pivoting from organizing a classic in-person conference to a virtual event has certainly been a challenge. There wasn't a virtual ISSW playbook to lean on. So we're forging ahead and we're trying to find a style and format for this event that captures the essence of the ISSW. And at the heart of that essence is the high quality lineup of oral presentations, panel discussions, and poster presentations that fulfills the event's tagline, a merging of theory and practice. So I'm here to introduce the VSSW program, and I'm incredibly excited to do that. Our team was asked to showcase the best research, the best practical applications, and the most dramatic case studies in the contemporary avalanche and snow science domains. We wanted to get the best possible representation from countries across the world while still showcasing local talent and expertise. We wanted to give opportunities for younger and less well-known presenters to shine against their more experienced counterparts. We also wanted to improve diversity and ensure good female representation. It was a tall order, particularly with an unproven format and a limited amount of time, both for preparation and for the event itself. However, I think you're going to like what we've done. We have speakers and panelists from Canada, USA, Sweden, Switzerland, Norway, and Austria. We have an even wider representation with poster submissions from all over the world. I hope you like what we've created, which is a venue to share ideas and experiences. I mentioned the VSSW program consists of 3 elements: oral presentations, panel discussions, and poster presentations. In total, we have 14 oral presentations, 2 panel discussions, and 50 poster presentations. Both Monday and Tuesday will comprise of the same components, but to facilitate participation from different time zones, the flow's just going to be a little bit different. On Monday, we'll start with the first oral session, which will be in the morning for us in Fernie, although that's going to start around lunchtime in Europe. And then we'll move to the first panel discussion. After that, we'll host the second oral session of the day. After the second oral session, there's going to be a poster session with opportunities for delegates to connect and talk directly with the poster presenters. We accept this poster session will be pretty late for our friends in Europe and points to the east, and that's why we're planning to run the poster session for a second time on Tuesday morning. And Simon Horton, who is the poster chair, is going to explain more about the details of how the poster sessions are going to work just at the end of my presentation here. After the morning poster session on Tuesday, we'll move into an oral session and then the second panel discussion, and then we'll have the final oral session of the conference. So just before we move on, I'd really like to thank the rest of the VSSW program team. Simon Horton has been absolutely instrumental in making the poster part of this event happen and has done just an incredible amount of work getting that all to work. Thanks to Ilya Storm and Grant Statham for helping organize the panel discussions. Mike Kopang and Curtis Poliak have really stepped up to the plate as well, again for the panel discussions. Mary Clayton has been working in many roles as a communications especially, and she's also been herding a lot of the things that have been needed to go onto the website associated with the program. And in the background, making sure that we've been making good decisions along the way, we've had Bruce Jameson, Rick Schroeder, Steve Conger, and Jen Coulter. So thanks to all of those folks for their part in making this happen. As Steve mentioned, our sponsors have been critical for being able to put on this event. I have the privilege of recognizing Avalanche Canada, which is the organization I work for. Avalanche Canada is the home of public avalanche safety in Canada. I'm passionate about the work we do at Avalanche Canada, and I'm excited to show you this great short video. I don't know about you, but that makes me so excited about winter. There is no question this winter is going to be a little bit different. It's going to bring a whole number of challenges to many parts of our industry in light of COVID-19. Despite that, I do believe that small group travel and recreation in the backcountry, when it's done in a responsible way, is going to be something that we more likely regard in a positive light despite the pandemic. I really hope I'm right about that. So moving on to the poster presentations, they're a really key part of the VSSW, and they're the part that I'm personally most excited about. To tell us more about how the poster sessions are organized and how they're going to work, I'd like to introduce you to Dr. Simon Horton. Simon's a snow science researcher and an avalanche forecaster. He's received his doctorate from the University of Calgary and now works as a researcher for Simon Fraser University. He also works for Avalanche Canada as an avalanche forecaster in the winter. Simon's a real jack of all trades, and he's also a really great guy. Simon, over to you.
Thank you, James, and welcome to the poster presentations, everyone. The idea behind the poster sessions was to give everyone a chance in our community to share their recent work. Poster presentations at the ISSW have always been an excellent way to engage with each other and have more in-depth conversations. I know personally many of the most interesting ideas and inspirations I've had have come out of casual talks in the poster halls and at the coffee breaks. While it's hard to capture this in a virtual event, we hope our poster session will give our community a chance to informally engage with each other. We intentionally organize it in a way that gives presenters a lot of flexibility in terms of how they share their work, so we can explore new creative ways of connecting virtually. Over the summer, we opened the call to posters to anyone who wanted to share something, and we were able to accept everyone who responded. In total, we have 46 posters on a diverse range of topics on work done in North America, Europe, Asia, and New Zealand. Each of these posters has a dedicated page on our website, which all registered delegates can now access. So feel free to browse around at the posters over the next few days and weeks. We're also running 2 official poster sessions, as James mentioned, over the next 2 days, one tomorrow afternoon and one Tuesday morning. We'll start off each session with a 5-minute poster review that introduces the topics, and then there'll be an hour and a half of dedicated time to browse the posters and connect with the presenters. You can attend the poster review with one of the go-to live links on the website. You can browse the posters on the website by navigating to the poster page, where they're sorted into 6 themes. Clicking on a theme brings you to a list of posters in that theme, and you can open a poster by clicking on the title or go to browse other themes. When you open a poster page, you can access the actual poster file by clicking on the red button to open in your web browser or download on your computer. We also gave the option for presenters to host their own virtual meetings where you can ask them questions or discuss their topics. You can access the meetings by clicking the Link to Meeting button beneath their poster. These meetings are not hosted on our site, but on external platforms chosen by the presenter. Presenters have set up meetings on Zoom, Microsoft Teams, Google Meet, and a few other platforms. Hopefully you're familiar with most of these platforms, but if not, you may need to do some basic steps to initially set it up on your computer. Typically, you get these instructions by following the links. Beneath the link, presenters have indicated which of the poster sessions they'll be available in the meeting rooms, as well as any additional info you may need to connect. There's the 2 poster sessions on Monday and Tuesday, and they're essentially the same. You can browse all the posters at any time, and the poster review will be the same on both days. The only difference to know is that some presenters may not be available on both days. We expect the Monday session to have more Western Hemisphere presenters, and the Tuesday session to have more Eastern Hemisphere presenters. So please check on each poster's page to see which times the presenters will actually be available to meet. With that, I'm excited to officially open the poster presentations and hope everyone enjoys browsing and the discussions. I'll see you again tomorrow at 2 p.m. Mountain Time for the first poster review, and I'll pass it back to Steve.
Okay, thanks a lot. Thanks for all your hard work, James and Simon. And as a reminder to everyone, these 2 have orchestrated the core of this event. So really big thanks to those guys. Now also working on this event, you can imagine the hard work that goes into this sort of thing. And so we had Zoom after Zoom meeting, and I don't know if you guys can see the details in these, but some of these people don't look that attentive, do they? It's a super challenge to stay excited in the middle of the summer and to, especially in the times of COVID, and to stay focused on this event. But as you can see, we're celebrating our successes so far, at least. In addition to that, we have had several challenges with Eventbrite, and I know that some people, although it seems to have run relatively smoothly for most, some people have been challenged with the Eventbrite. We did have some fun with it. You can see Tyler Carson, who I'll mention in a minute, he set up this nice practice slide for us, and we'll be looking forward to some of those beverages at the end of this event, I can tell you. I'd also like to thank, as I mentioned, Tyler Carson, and he's been in charge of the Eventbrite registrations page, and also Sue Boyd has been helping him out. Olivia Johnson has helped us out with the Elkview Lodge and the studio setup, so a big thanks to Olivia for that. And helping Olivia has been Nicole Maddie for the chat program, so they're the ones that are operating the chat program right now. Mary Clayton has helped us out with communications and media, and really it's we owe her a big debt. That's one of the reasons why we have over 1,000 attendees at our event here. Vanessa Kroom and Christine Thompson from Claris Media. They're the ones that have designed the website and worked with us tirelessly and back and forth. And it's a little bit like herding kittens again in the dog pound. We're probably pretty trying at times as a group. Jen Coulter, as always, seems to be there in the background, keeping it all real, and is a real organizational force, I'd have to say. And then thanks to all the volunteers still working towards the ISSW 2021. We have a lot of work to do and a lot of replanning to do. So I'm really looking forward to getting going with that. Next, I'd like to introduce Christine Grimble from Tourism Fernie, who has been instrumental in our 2016 bid to host the ISSW in Fernie, and is also a force in the tourism industry here in Fernie. So Christine, you can take it away.
Okay, thank you so much, Steve. And it's wonderful to see how many people of you are tuning in from all around the world and getting a taste of Fernie for potentially the first time. On behalf of Tourism Fernie, it is my pleasure to extend a warm welcome to all participants. And while we would love nothing more than to be sharing our community with you in person, we are certainly grateful to have you in our virtual backyard. Fernie is a world-class outdoor adventure destination positioned within the dramatic peaks of the Canadian Rocky Mountains. And while we are known for our big mountain adventure, we are also a community that prides itself on small mountain charm, authenticity, and friendliness. Fernie is well known across the globe for our winter season, thanks to our legendary snow, often a result of the Fernie factor, and the wealth of alpine, backcountry, cat ski, and snowmobile experiences. Throughout the rest of the year, though, one can enjoy extensive hiking and biking through the networks in our stunning mountain ranges, arts and culture within our historic downtown, along with whitewater rafting and renowned fly fishing on our rivers. So as to help further bring you into our virtual backyard during this conference, we wanted to share a video with you offering a taste of Fernie right here and now during our spectacular fall season. And following this video, it is my pleasure to welcome the Honorable Mayor Ange Kuliza with a few words on behalf of the City of Fernie. So enjoy this video.
Good morning, my name is Mayor Ange Kuliza, and I'm with the City of Fernie, and I'd like to acknowledge that the City of Fernie is within the Ktunaxa Amaki, the homeland of the Ktunaxa people. I want to recognize and acknowledge the great contribution our local organizing committee has done here. They've been working as a team around the clock to pull this conference off. They quickly shifted into a virtual conference when the pandemic hit to make sure that we could all be together today. So great work, team, and in particular I'd like to acknowledge the boundless enthusiasm of Steve Kite. When he first started talking about this event, I think he was emailing me from a train in Europe. So we are really thrilled to have this event happening here. Avalanche hazards impact all of us, even the City of Fernie. Right now we've hired a team of consultants to help us understand our avalanche hazard assessment data so that we can plan and understand avalanche hazards that exist within our municipal boundaries, which is why I'm really thankful that you're all here today, learning, staying industry experts on behalf of your community so that you can help us make better decisions. I'm really pleased that we have a strong lineup of local experts. We are really fortunate in Fernie to have some fantastic community leaders, and I really look forward to staying in this conference with you all. I know a virtual conference isn't as great as an in-person conference. We were really looking forward to hosting you, but here we are in a pandemic doing the best we can. And I would like to invite you all to Fernie when it's safe to travel, and we look forward to having you soon. Have a great conference, everyone.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Ange, for that. And we have one last poll. We are conducting market research for ourselves. And I'll get Brent to post that poll up for us, as we'd be interested to know what you'd be most interested in experiencing when you do come and have the opportunity to explore Fernie. So we'll see what seems to hit the top of the list. Well, like many of us, we are so excited to come and enjoy the mountains here in Fernie during the winter season. And certainly we would welcome you anytime in the winter. I know that for the 2021 opportunity, when we get to have you here for the ISSW event, it will be fall and there's lots to certainly explore. So we wish you a most successful conference and know that we look forward to safely welcome you to Fernie in the future. All the best.
Thanks, Christine, and thanks to the City of Fernie for your continued support with the ISSW 2020 or 2021. I guess there's no surprise with those poll results being heavily weighted towards skiing, but I gotta say that people come to Fernie for the winter, but they stay for the summer. It's absolutely gorgeous here in the summer. I'd like to remind you of a few things while we get ready to close here. Tomorrow's start time is 7:45 Mountain Daylight Time, and I know lots of people have had challenges with that, so if you can check on those things for me. And just to be a bit early if you need to do some, so to make sure that you get your technology up and running. You'll also notice that to gain access to the meeting tomorrow, you will need to click on the red button on the Go to Live on our website under the schedule setting. So that will get you directly through to the meeting. And if you have any problems, please send our chat people a note right now if you can't get to the website itself even. We'd also like to hear any feedback actually that you can give us via the chat lines of which will be open for a short time after this meeting. And any feedback on, if you couldn't hear sound for videos, or if you couldn't get the videos, or if you had challenges with the registration, anything at all, please send that to our chat line right away after the meeting. So thanks for checking in with us today, and get outside for the rest of the day, or if it's in the evening, have a beer for us, and enjoy yourselves today, and come back refreshed, curious, and ready to learn tomorrow. We'll see you all tomorrow. Thanks very much, you guys.